Holy crap, that felt fast. Whoa. Hi, my name's Sean Lancaster. I'm an average age grouper working on my first full distance Ironman. Welcome back to my video series on my training and prep for Ironman Florida 2023. In this episode, I'm excited to tell you I'm halfway through a 3-week taper and only about 9 days out from the start line. I'm going to share some of my taper workouts and some specific preps that I'm doing to get ready to head to Panama City Beach. Also in this episode, I'm going to talk about my goals and expectations for race day. Thanks for watching.
120 hours over the 20-week program.
Thanks for watching, and please subscribe if you would like to follow this journey. I started my taper 3 weeks out from race day. I knew the cake was baked on my fitness, but I wanted to stay sharp, and I had a pretty big to-do list to knock out before I headed to Panama City Beach. At the top of that list was breaking in a new wetsuit and getting my tri-bike race ready. And remember, like the absolute best way to do this. So I just kind of have to figure it out. Actually, I made that look pretty good. Okay, the weather's finally cooled down enough that I'm going to give this new wetsuit a go. So headed to the pool, see if I can wrestle myself into this thing and break this wetsuit in right. Okay, first step done. I was able to wrestle into the bottom half of this, trying to get this up over my shoulders and get it zipped. Well, we'll see how it goes. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get some help getting this thing zipped. Can definitely feel the buoyancy. Nice. Finished my 700-yard warm-up, and it's just unbelievable. My body position in the water without a wetsuit is just probably not flat enough. But man, with this wetsuit, I'm getting flat and riding high. It's like a boat getting up on plane. Huge difference. Okay, that's 2,500 in the wetsuit. Great workout, but I can tell you the pool is definitely too warm to do any super long sets. I was glad to get out of this thing. So if you've watched any of the videos previously on this channel, you probably get the sense that I'm a do-it-yourselfer kind of guy, and that's just part of who I am. But I got into doing my own bike maintenance mainly because my wife started in the sport before I did, and then my son, and I was just basically hero sport's what we called it, and having tools and a good bike stand and the know-how and being able to do the bike stuff for races and for training and so forth, that was a way that I contributed to the team. So I enjoy working with my hands, so it's kind of a fun addition to this hobby of ours for me. So as with about everything I own, there's a story behind this bike. And first of all, this is, you can probably tell if you're an avid triathlete, this is not a super new generation bike. This bike, it was built by Javelin, the frame was, and Javelin is a boutique bike company that my brother-in-law used to work for. So, you know, because Rob worked for them, we've always tried to support them, and they've been good to us too. This particular bike is a frame that was ridden by a pro from the Chicago area that rode this when he was being sponsored by Javelin, and he happens to be about the same size I am, and so the frame was the right size, and it's in pretty good shape. He probably rode it hard for a season or two, and I'm pretty sure this bike actually went to Kona, so I know this bike can make it to Kona. So that's kind of cool. And I looked up his race times, and this, you know, he was consistently hitting 26, 27 miles an hour on 70.3 races. So I know this bike's fast. I know it can be fast. Now, I've got a long ways to go before I close the gap between what my engine can do versus what his engine obviously was able to do. But
seeing if it's too tight, we're also going to listen for excessive noise while hovering. And if the front rear wheel is making noise, then you're definitely lower than that. Or on 6 on the video.
pretty freaking noisy. Hold up, Calvin. To a point where I can put it on in this clamp. We get these new sensors installed. So there's the pieces parts. Center it up a little bit. What went on a lot easier. When you put stuff in the right spot, it goes better. Okay.
My most important taper workout was one last brick session on Saturday, October 21st, 2 weeks out from race day. The plan was to do a 70-mile ride on the trainer and follow that with a 5-mile run off the bike. The kicker was that the session was to be done at race target heart rates, mid to high zone 3 for me. Before I could get to work though, I needed to road test my bike tune-up and the new sensors.
Okay, Saturday, October 21st, 2 weeks to the day from race day. And I'm just sitting here thinking, 2 weeks from this moment right here, I will be on this bike, hopefully already past halfway point and on my way back to T2. It's kind of blowing my mind a little bit because I'd say the first 8 to 10 weeks of this training program, it didn't go by that fast. Matter of fact, some of it felt kind of slow. But man, the last 4, 5, 6 weeks have flown by. I'm nervous, I'm excited, and I don't know, I guess just in this workout here today, it's just starting to kind of hit me that race day is almost here. I've got a lot of good vibes, a lot of gratitude in my heart right now because I actually feel good today. And, you know, knock on wood, 2 weeks out of the race, and I don't have any major injuries that are holding me back. I've had, as I've talked about on here, I've had some challenges. But you know what? We've all got our own shit that we have to work through and overcome. And I just want to say, I don't mean when I'm sharing anything about whether it's my shoulder, my knee, whatever. I don't mean to offer those up as excuses or even really to say that I feel like I'm some athlete that's having to really overcome a big challenge. Let me tell you, there are some people that do this sport and that are going to line up on that start line that have real problems and that are real heroes for overcoming what they're working against. And I draw a lot of inspiration from those folks. It was back maybe 20 years ago. Unfortunately, I don't remember who said this, but the content of what they said stuck with me. They said if we all wrote all our problems down on some index cards, threw them into the middle, into a big pile, and then you had to draw back out, and that became your problems, this guy said, I would consider myself so lucky to get my problems back. And that's how I feel. Anyway, didn't mean to get all philosophical, but that's just kind of where my head's at. So I just hit mile 40, going to 70. Then I'm gonna get off and run for a little bit. And then I'm probably gonna crush a whole pizza and just relax. But anyhow, just grateful.
Okay, let's talk about goals. Since this is my first full distance Ironman, obviously my number one priority is to get to the finish line. That said, I do have a finish time in mind. I'm a competitive guy, and especially in a me versus me kind of scenario, I certainly have a time in mind that I think is achievable. How to come up with that goal? Well, there's an old rule of thumb in triathlon that says that if you want to predict your first full Ironman, take your 70.3 time, double it, and add an hour. I'm a simple guy. I like to keep things simple, and that just seemed like a simple but solid way to determine what my target finish time should be. So my last 70.3 was Ironman Arizona 2022. And that race, the swim got canceled.
So my bike run time was somewhere in the neighborhood of 5:15, 5:20. If you throw on a 45-minute swim and additional T1, you know, I'm probably just over 6 hours on my last 70.3. You double that and add an hour and you're just over 13 hours. So my goal, my time goal that I'm working towards, I decided would be to go under 13 hours. And here are the splits that I think I'll need to hit. And I do think this is doable based on my training times.
Okay, so that's my first goal, which is to finish in under 13 hours. My second goal is even more important to me than the first. And in a nutshell, I want to make it a great day. What I mean by that is I want to show up to the start line with an attitude of gratitude, and I want to carry that throughout the whole day. I want to make sure that I'm putting out positive energy and good vibes, supporting my fellow competitors, showing appreciation to the volunteers and all the supporters. And most importantly to me, I want to make it a great day for my team. I have such a great team, and it starts with my wife, Rebecca. She has worked so hard throughout this whole process to get me to the start line. She's been coach, best friend, training partner, physio, therapist, nutritionist. The rest of my team, I've got a great crew that's assembling to support me. My brother-in-law, John, his wife, Jess, and my son, Ben's coming up. So the way that I think I do that is it's all going to be about how I carry myself in the race, staying positive, you know, smiling even when it hurts. And that's the most important goal for me that day. Okay, let's talk about expectations. First and foremost, I expect it to be an epic day. It's going to be long. It's going to be hard. And the second half of that marathon is probably going to be a nonstop suckfest. I know there are going to be challenges. There are going to be things that make me want to quit. But what I also know, and this is really less of an expectation and more of a promise, is that I will find the strength to find the finish line. And where I find that faith is you have to go back to thinking about why I took on this challenge to begin with. I wanted it to be transformational, not just physically, but also mentally and spiritually. And on the spiritual side, I know that whatever I come up against, God is going to give me the strength and the know-how to adapt and overcome. And the last thing I'm going to say about expectations, when I hit that finish line and I find my family, I know that we are going to celebrate and thank the Lord that that thing is over. And then we're going to go get some food and we're going to send it. So that's my vision for how the race is going to go. Obviously, I have no way of knowing how it's all going to play out, but I'm excited to get to the start line and find out. Okay, so one last thing. I want to take a second just to say thanks to all of you that have been watching this video series. I really appreciate all the good comments and positive feedback. And I know that several of you are doing Ironman Florida as well, so if you would like to meet up, please feel free to reach out to me through my Instagram account. It's at That Hybrid Life. I'll put the link in the description, and I'll put it on screen here as well. And I would love to meet you and share some recon when we get to Panama City Beach. And I want to wish you all the best of luck. And
For those of you that are subscribers and watching the series, yes, I am going to post a race recap as soon as I can following the race. So thanks again, and we'll see you next time.
Come on now.